Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, continue.
No, I was just saying that I've been playing some totally normal watch too.
Oh yeah, that one who's April Fool's patch. Yeah.
Yeah, I was so confused because one day, I think on April 1st, my friends just invited me to play Overwatch. And I didn't see that they were queuing totally normal watch. So imagine when I play Mercy and, I pull off my blaster and shoot like Reinhardt fire strikes. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's really funny. They did a lot of interesting stuff in there for sure. I think I played it
Yeah.
a little bit too. Right.
All
Okay.
right.
hmm Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Continue.
yeah. Mm, Today we're focusing on Mercy and Lucio, right?
Yeah, if you want to. Well, first off, I remember back in the days you mentioned you had a lot of questions. Maybe that is something what we can go over first, something to address first, and then if there's anything else as well, like whatever you're struggling with right now, we'll go with that. I think, and also, well, if we want, we can focus on the Lucio and Mercy. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think most of the questions just stem from either like Mercy, because I feel like I've hit a kind of ceiling. I don't know exactly. Of course, like you understand, I can position myself a bit better. I can take bait, and you know what I mean. But like more concrete, what exactly I need to improve on Mercy. And also, one of the questions was, if I should learn Kiriko, Juno, or Brig. And I think also a lot of the questions are about. I don't really remember, but it's probably specific questions regarding different comps, or rather how you play into the comp. Because or when people one trick a weird character, and you have to play around it, or when multiple people stick to
Yeah.
weird characters, so you have to play around that. But that's more specific examples.
Makes
So I'd
sense.
say we can start by watching a Lucio replay.
Yeah, sure. That sounds good to me. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll share it. This one is a bit scuffed because in the second round, like my controller battery was half dying, so I had to replace it mid-game. It was kind of weird, but I can share the code.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so we're doing both Lucio and Mercy. Well, for starting with Lucio, is there anything what you've been focusing on him lately?
I've been mostly just like right now. I've been going through what you said before. So basically, just checking off the list, trying to not go through main as much, and trying to flank at least somewhat. And also like trying at least to identify, big threats. Like if I had a Widowmaker standing on high ground, it could be a good idea to try to dive and boop away her at least. To identify threats and keep short angles and try to flank. That's basically what I've been trying to do.
Right. Yeah,
There's other things like booping enemies into our team and stuff like that too, of course. But that is something I need to work on, because that's a bit more. Because most of my positioning is like towards my team or a bit more to the side, like taking off angles. This makes it a bit more difficult to like boop enemies into the team. Let's say that second point Eichenwald, like the close defense when you go through the gate.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna. I don't usually play Lucy on that map, but just take that choke as an example. I would usually play on like the defendant side, or attacker side, right? So close to my team, but I can't just go to the other side into their enemy team to boop them in, because it's very easy if they have like a Cassidy to just shoot me, or if they have any kind of CC sleep. It's easy to kill me, so usually I just boop them away from, like if our tank or someone is low, then I can boop the enemy away to save our tank and speed boost. But I haven't been finding as much opportunities to boop into the team because of my positioning.
I see. Yeah, we can take
I
a look.
think.
I think a lot of times, because as a Lucio you have a lot of mobility, you just still need to find out how you bait the enemy attention. So it goes to you, and then because it goes to you, you can actually bait out the abilities and stay alive. A lot of times, like sleep dart is not big threat if you have the good movement. Cast, flash, yes, it's something you gotta be aware of usually, but if you're in the good range, it's okay. It's just like mostly the bullets. The sleep is not threatening, well, unless you're really close. So you have to bait it like as any other dive character usually trying to play around those cooldowns. We're not waiting, yeah. We're not saying, well, if they have the cooldown, we're not doing anything, yeah. But we're kind of just setting up
Mm.
the proactive pressure first, and then later, because they do something to you, you can try to go in. Actually, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of that. Okay, well, but as of recent, you think anything you've been struggling with in Lucio as well? If there's anything.
Yeah, I think that sometimes in the middle of a fight, that also happens with Mercy, where I just maybe tunnel vision or something, because you can take a flank, for example, but then you see a relatively low target and you try to dive that, but then you can maybe miss. There's a other DPS, a support that's peeling right beside it, so you might like go into main or take a 2v1 because you don't have the awareness, and that might be because I've been sick recently.
Okay.
But I know. I think we can see that in this game where I take some offensive plays, but I just kind of go blank,
Yeah, we can take a look. Yeah, that's okay. So,
especially on the second map.
yeah. Well, regarding the awareness, actually, how the tracking stats going for you so far? Are you able to do that consistently? Kind of display around those a little bit more, predict where the enemy is gonna be?
Yeah, I'd say so. It also, of course, depends on what like enemies you're meeting. But usually, if you have like flanking enemies, let's say I don't know, Lucio, Pharah, Reaper, it's good to have like, or Tracer. It's good to like think where is she.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's then. We'll try to focus on probably some data games and stuff. But let's see. Let's see what you do at the start, and yeah, if you're gonna have any questions, also feel free to ask those. And you just mainly, I think, you've been asking just how do you play around the certain composition? Is it the same thing about on the Lucio? It's kind of sometimes hard to identify, like the playstyle. They adapt the playstyle depending on the comp.
Yeah, I think one game I played Lucio with like Junkrat and Hanzo, and I don't know why. Because it was really weird because I was just staying with the team and healing most of the time. It was really like both sides had a lot of poke and were close together, so I couldn't really dive them. So I was just like healing my own team. That was a really weird game.
You've been playing the Lucio in this case?
Yeah, I don't know why. I think I switched to Anna or Mercy afterwards.
Yeah.
I played
exactly.
Lucio for way too long.
Yeah, exactly. It might be the partially just what you can do. Just look at your win condition and then solve the character. And to be honest, because the most of the value comes out of the speed boost and Lucio, you have to dive something. In those cases, usually, like if you're playing with the poke, there is nothing to speed boost, right? So we usually just want to kind of go in and bully someone. Yeah, but it depends on situation, of course. But yeah, if you find yourself kind of not utilizing speed boost, a lot of times something is off typically. Maybe, or like you're not, let's say it's either you're not enabling your team or maybe you're not enabling yourself with the speed boost. Yeah, something is off typically, because that is your main thing you gotta be thinking about. Yeah, how do we just bait the attention and help your team to also stay active because you have that speed boost on? Yeah, stuff like that. Okay. Well, if because there are a lot of things we can go over, I'm thinking, well, let's just focus on the comms a little bit. If you look at your composition, what your composition is about, how do you guys win? What do you think?
This is a very chaotic. I don't know what they thought with the echo pick. It's kind of weird, but
I mean,
this is a very like. I mean, it could work. I can't really heal her. Moira could maybe.
Yeah.
And she can go to Hell Packs, I guess. This is a very like chaotic dive where everyone is. You could play very like to each their own. Everyone has like an escape ability. So it's mostly about just taking like flanking and just pushing them and trying to secure picks. For example, I think their Juno wouldn't be too hard to kill, or they also have a pretty high mobility team, except for their Orisa. But I think generally it's just about being aggressive and diving their team,
Mm-hmm.
and then retreating quickly back if something bad happens, and then try again.
Right, right. So ultimately, if you simplify it, the way your team wins, especially if you compare it to teams, is by diving somebody. Okay, so your attention should be just on helping the divers to achieve that goal a lot of times. Okay, if you trying to compare two compositions, I don't think we went over compositions with you much, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, well, we went over dive, brawl, and poke, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
Just
you're familiar
generally.
with all the categories, though. Yeah, what the comp do.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, okay, that's good start. Okay, so because you're familiar with those C categories now, there are two questions for you to answer usually. So it gives you direction with what are you trying to do with the composition. So something to start with. The first question is what range you guys are playing. Okay, any composition can have the range. You can think about the scale. It's maybe going from short to the long range. Okay, so
Right.
you just gotta be thinking about where your comp is gonna be on that scale. Are you closer to the short range? Are you closer to the long range? Sort of. That just to simplify. Okay, and with something like second question, it's usually all about the angles. Okay, and angles, it can also be just going with soft angles. There's what I would say playing closer to your team usually, or you could also have something like hard angles. Hard angles, it means you flank more, you surround the enemy more, stuff like that. It's just usually because you have the mobility, you have more mobility to do so. All right. So if we look at your composition, well, let's start with angles. How do you guys take angles, you think? Are you gonna be
This is hard angles,
hard
I would say.
angles? Yeah, mostly. You will be pretty split. There's gonna be Trace on the off angle, somewhere on the flank. Echo might be taking that angle. Doomfist somewhere else. And that is something you can think about too. Yeah, like how do you support taking those active angles? Okay, because it's all about the map control. If are we thinking about those compositions, yeah, you just first off get map control, and later you can secure the dive. Okay, typically. Okay, so I'm thinking if you are leaning towards the hard angles to achieve map control, what your attention should be on first? What kind of angles you will be supporting?
Probably some kind of flank. It's because it's a lot easier to get map control
Mhm.
if you have like a pick on the enemy team. So I guess that like flanking with someone, for example, I don't know, helping the Doomfist or helping the Tracer on a flank to the left, and getting a pick and then getting out,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah. Who's usually the higher priority, you think? Tracer or Echo?
Probably Tracer.
Probably Tracer, yeah, exactly. So this is how you think about this, and now because you have this those priorities, yeah, now it makes it easy for you to engage. You can just first of all establish the map control. Maybe you will poke out the enemy trace or something. Maybe there's gonna be enemy surgeon, and then you can try to dive. Well, with the range, it's also pretty straightforward. You're playing at the short range, but I usually think about the dive like this way: you can go from long range to short range really fast. So it's just because you have the mobility. Okay, and dive is just all about the mobility, and you can be indirectly threatening the enemy because of the long distance, because of just how you can reach them within the seconds. Okay, so this arrow you can kind of represent mobility going from long to short range. You have with the poke comms, it's a lot about long pressure. The brawl comms, all about the short. range
Sure.
pressure. Okay, so to just simplify, you need to take advantage of your mobility for the most part, and that's about it. Okay, does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so with this in mind, we'll see. Are you enabling the map control? Yeah, we starting with that and then engaging after. Yeah, are we doing that exactly? Our attention should be on trace echo, like I mentioned, and then we can secure the dive probably. So let's see. Gonna go on the left, yeah, trying to take this hard angle, trying to poke out, and we getting out. Okay, playing inside the room, enabling the dive, and just your Doomfist dives really fast. And then open the
Yeah.
reset. Okay, so what do you think about this engagement? Just go back a little bit and just look at perspective of, are we enabling the dive properly here? What do you think?
No, I can't even see my DPS. They're at the very top of the screen.
Yeah.
So it's really only me and Doomfist.
Yeah, so what do you think the right decision is in here?
Probably escorting my DPS out of spawn, maybe.
Well, but we've been thinking about the map control, yeah? It's obviously you have some preferences, what you can do, but first off, it's just all about the map control, right? So what you can achieve is the map control at this point. What do you think? What can you
I
do?
can probably help my Doomfist a bit more because
Well, maybe.
he's alone. Because right now we have advantage, like we have like the more, I was going to say, like space to work with compared to them. But he's all alone, and I'm taking an angle. It might have been better if I supported him to keep like that space instead of trying to go even deeper. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about activity. Yeah, whenever you're trying to support, think obviously there are some preferences you can be doing with the map control, but generally speaking, you're trying to support those active divers. Okay, so I'm seeing the Doomfist diving in. Okay, well I can just help them out, or maybe there's your Tracer, help them out, Echo, help them out. Because if you're saying you will escort the Tracer or Echo, those are not the most active right now, right? So it doesn't make sense as much. You don't need to do that. You just need to make sure your attention in the right place. Yeah. So it seems kind of a little bit too far away. Yeah. 2 steps ahead. You're not set up for the dive, so now you're forced out a little bit. And then the Doomfist, they also not able to have as much space, and those guys eventually they win a little bit more of that space. Yeah. Potentially, like from this point though, when you're in this situation though, what do you think? What could be the play? So Doomfist is looking for the dive. Okay, well maybe that is something we can support as well and to just try to enable, but yeah, what's your thoughts?
Well, Tracer went for a flank too, so I could have followed her.
Maybe, yeah, one
I
of the
guess.
options. Well, it's
Or
still
I
not...
could have looked for a boop.
Yeah, Boop and who?
Oh no, that wouldn't help.
But you
Risa
can...
uses gold, so I could have booped her away. I don't know if you really can boop Tracer or Sojourn.
Oh, you can kind of.
Probably, yeah. Like, probably booping the Risa because she goes in, uses gold, and then that goes out, and then I can boop her away. But I don't know if that would have helped her tank, though. Because I don't think the Risa contributed to killing the Doomfist, or did she?
Well, they kind of been shooting a little bit, not as much. For the most part, it's just been those guys over there. Yeah. It's just like the only thing, yeah, what it seems like. Can we try to help out this Doomfist a little bit more, for example, as well? Like you've been saying, well, Tracer supporting that angle is fine, right? Sure, but because it's all about supporting the most active angle. Who's the most active right now?
A Doomfist.
Well, Doomfist, sure. And then, how can you support them a little bit more? What do you think?
Probably by following him.
Yeah.
A bit early.
Well, yeah, but see, well, you try to follow though, yeah? So you're kind of going from here to here real quick, and then this guy dies. So what do you think? Is there anything else you can be doing right now? Like, think about the composition. What your composition does as well. Like, where can you be to be able to contribute to this dive right now? Is that the best spot for you to be at?
Yeah, well, now we're very grouped, which doesn't really align with this like cater dive. So
Mm.
maybe taking another angle
Yeah, yeah.
on the left side of the screen would be better.
Yeah, well, one of the options. Yeah, one of the options at least. Ideally, you guys should be taking the angle with the tracer together, and Doomfist dives in, and then you can look to just go from behind. But because Doomfist is most active right now, we have to be in a position and at least have another angle of pressure somewhere else. Yeah, not just sitting here, but just go somewhere else. Yeah, you can think about, okay, there's the downtime, the Doomfist is not doing much, so don't sit in the room. Just walk around here, or like you mentioned, well, you can also invest the time going left, but it's depends, yeah, because you need to set up the dive, okay, and your location now, you're looking for the dive here, not like over there, for example, so that's all right. I think you can just try to stay around here and see what this position allows you to do. You can support an echo, potentially you can support the tracer. It's like a lot of the Lucio support, you don't have to sit with your divers, but you have to set up so you will be ready to help out the divers. Okay, because the dive, this is exactly the tricky thing. They can go from point 1 to point 2 really fast. And if you're trying to catch them with a speed boost, something is off, usually. You need to anticipate where they might attack, stay in a position, and then collapse. Yeah, try to like go in. Imagine if you're sitting on this pillar right now, and you're just engaging right away on that surge. Well, probably you kill her right now. Yeah, it's like pretty easy. And then you're kind of trying to catch them, yeah, and it's hard. Becomes really tough. Yeah, well, does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so far, support, active angles, also setup. Yeah, that is how you just help out your win conditions a little bit more. Need to anticipate, I think. Okay, let's watch. Well, that could do stuff too. Yeah, so for example here, what do you think? Enabling the divers here? What it looks like?
I mean, kinda. I guess I'm speed boosting the echo into their enemy team.
Yeah, well, why kind of? Well, don't are you not in a position to like shoot together with the echo?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Then again, I don't know if it was a good dive, considering that there's 3 people there and an Orisa.
Well, what's better, to dive in or just wait and let the Saku die?
Well, I guess it's better, yeah.
Right?
I mean, it worked, but I probably could have, again, taken another angle, possibly, because now I'm just, like, falling behind the echo like a dog.
Well, you could be, but like ultimately the thing is, you need to stay ready in a position. Like your thing is, like, see now why it's so much easier, because you have really closer position. Okay, well, you could be even closer and just trying to anticipate. We see that tracer here, the Saku there. Okay, well, where could you set up right away? Go on the statue here, go over here, and then once they collapse on something, you see the opportunity going with them. Yeah, this position seems pretty good. Well, angles, sure, you can also do that, but first of all, solve the timing. Yeah, like what the problem here was, yeah? Because you're not in position. Yeah, first it's just really hard, but now this is pretty good. Timing is the most important. Yeah, does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is how it's gonna be most of the time. You just always watch. Are you in the position to time the pressure? Look at who is active now, and that's it. Okay. So what do you think about now? Where should you be? Look at your divers. What are they doing currently?
They're on the top left.
Well, yeah.
Or Doomfist is there at least.
Yeah, well, there's Doomfist, there's Echo as well, kind of looking to set up. So what do you think? Where your setup should be?
I could stand on the pillars, or like sit on the pillars on the right side, or like on the top of the screen. I could probably sit around there, because then I can see if Echo, for example, tries to die the Juno, I can follow, or I can follow the Doomfist if he wants to go into main or something. And I can possibly help Tracer if I stood on the pillars. Because right now, I think I wrote that in my document, is that I get a bit too scared. So I went to Narnia to try to, don't know, get healing from the Moira or something.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Yeah, are you enabling your win condition by being here?
No.
Yeah, so this exactly like that's why you have high chance of losing this. Yeah, you need to stay there to enable the win condition. Yeah, like obviously you need the healing, but first off, make sure you are in the position to do something. Well, you can also figure out the healing on your own. You the support, yeah. So switch to healing. You can also get the passive heal. So yeah, don't bother. Usually you're playing Lucio on the dive comp, so you can just be pretty self-sufficient. You see, like this dive is setting up in the spawn. You're not there. Yeah. There's a Doomfist, there's a Tracer, there's Echo, all of them already. And see, like, they are dying to, like, spam damage here, so it's becomes tough. Yeah, like, those guys are diving in, yeah, constantly. That's something, if you contribute, that you make their life so much easier. You probably trade the backline, kill the cast faster, kill the Juno, and then it's easier for you guys to also clear this point after. I see now there's kind of a chance for them to win this, because the pressure is not there, yeah? See, like, how low the enemy's been, on the resources too. Stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, does make sense too. Just kind of constantly set up. Yeah, be ready to enable this swing condition. Yeah. Just kind of gonna be looking at the angles, starting with again Tracer, Echo, because we expect them to be more active. Now let's make sure we set up. For example, here, this is not bad. You see the Tracer here? Okay, she's looking for the dive, she died, but at least you've been able to contribute to the dive, so you get a kill. That's good. Traded 1-on-1. And like now, your thought process starts again. What do you think you should be doing currently? Like help out the divers and also set up. Be ready to help out the divers.
I could position... Oh, wait, there's the Widowmaker there.
Oh well, yeah.
I mean, probably... It wouldn't help the dive, but it could help, you know, if they lose a player, to instead of, I think, going back, I just jump up the pillars.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, you see who is left there. Like I said, the Tracer is dead now. There's Echo activity. Imagine if you just jump with her and the Doomfist now. Like, just deal with that Widow. She would be dead, right? But now you're dealing with the Moira, and you're really close. Well, you even died there, yeah? So it becomes difficult. And see that Widow, 1 HP? Imagine you there. You maybe can also secure the Juno kill. Now just look at the angle, see where they are. Yeah, the space is pretty volatile, changing fast. But if you anticipate, you think, okay, hold on, enable. Trace is dead. Okay, Echo next. Okay, Doomfist next. Set up and then fight. Set up and then fight, yeah? You can sometimes go on your own missions too, but it's just usually if there's really easy opportunity for you to get kills, stuff like that. Okay. There's a beat. Yeah, that's fine. And now we're getting ready again. You're just getting ready to set up to help out the divers. That's where you want to look around and check, okay? So based on this positioning, you're looking at the Echo, you're looking at the Moira maybe. What do you think? Where should it be? Where should you set up currently?
I mean, I could set up on the pillars again, I guess, to the left.
You
because
say
that
like
would...
this or here? So like, let's say this
no, not to the right, to the...
B, maybe like C, I don't know, or like D closer. What do you think?
I would probably do D, because problem with C is that it's a very long angle, or at least for Lucio. Like, I can't get anything done, and Cassidy will win that duel, even if he's a bit like too far away for his like fall off. But
yeah, but are you setting up to fight the Cassidy? Like, what area are you setting up for?
right now, I think I would just... Yeah, I think I was going to help the Tracer, but then she died, and then like I kind of half continued, and now I'm trying to go back to the team, if you know what I mean. So I didn't really set up a dive, I was just trying to go to the Tracer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Tracer, the Tracer died like a few seconds ago, I think. It's just like, wait, she's been dead for really long. Yeah, so like this time she died now, and you kind of sitting in the choke, okay, and then you went around, and that is where you again gotta decide. We're trying to see where there's a possibility for your team to set up the dive. Yeah, simplify into that. Okay, so what is that area? What is that area Yuako can be looking for the dive currently?
Well, the echo is on the left of the screen, so I can probably set up on the what is that, the central pillar or something?
Oh, well, center
I
pillar
guess.
here.
Yeah.
Is it safe for you? Are you gonna be able to stay in a position to set up the dive with her?
It's a bit risky, I guess.
Yeah, like my problem is
maybe it's better to
help you
stay
out.
on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was also thinking that.
Yeah, why not to stay at sea as well? I'm just curious, why not to stay there? Not do anything towards the gas, just set up the dive here? What do you think?
I think the biggest reason was because I was a bit too scared, because I thought, like, if the caster hits me with a flashbang or hinder, like, I'm dead. So I didn't want to risk dying, instead just trying to survive, and then possibly, because I saw that the tracer died maybe, and then I thought that, okay, if I die now, we're gonna lose this team fight.
Yeah,
definitely, and they're gonna cap.
The Cassidy, can he flash you when you at sea?
No.
No? So what's the concern?
No, I can't dive in from sea, I guess, but if I just stay at sea, then nothing happens.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. You're not diving the Cassidy again. What area are you setting up for? Who are you supporting right now?
No one, but I could support Moira. Is the closest one.
Okay.
But preferably the Echo.
Echo. Okay, so for what area we're setting up for? Like, what is that area you're fighting for? Let's put it this way.
Right now, like, more the top of the screen, I guess.
Well, you're saying here? I mean, well, let's say, okay, there are multiple areas, okay? So this is point, let's call this area 1, this is area 2, this is area 3. This is typically how it goes. Okay, so for what area are you setting up the fight?
I mean, we're setting up more for 2, I guess, because I'm the only one that's even close to 3.
Yeah, right, exactly. And remember what your comp is gonna do. To be able to fight the positions, to be able to just fight the enemy properly. What your comp is about, how dive wins. What do you need to do at this time? Setup.
We first need to, set up the angles.
Yeah, set up the angles. Okay, so if you echo here, and let's say you here, aren't you setting up the angles to fight too?
I mean, I guess.
Well, possibly, yeah. Okay. So see what I'm trying to say? Like, two things together. You help out your teammates, but don't stay with them. Yeah, you need to win map control first, and then later you go from B, and this A gets closer, and you help them. You help them here, right? Maybe. Yeah, or like you help them there, I don't know, just anywhere we're looking for the dive. Yeah, but what you've been doing, you're kind of just sitting with them, yeah? You kind of sitting with them, and then once they go in, you're trying to catch them. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You anticipate where the dive happens, you set up, you don't have to exactly sit, well, of course there are gonna be cases where you kind of fight the same angle, like with Tracer, for example. But anyway, you can win the map control, and later you can collapse from different angles. Okay, does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because this is important. Yeah, because all the things. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. You just we're not setting up the dive in the cast because you're not helping out the echo. We also don't have to be stuck with the echo because we need map control. Yeah, map control, synchronize. Map control, synchronize. Just two things. Yeah, map control, synchronize. That's it. Yeah, I see, like, now you're not synchronized, so you're dead. Yeah, you just got a lot of bursts from the Cassidy, but you're not setting up for the dive on the Cassidy, right? So we could be just setting up for the dive, like, right now, in this area. Imagine you help out the Echo, maybe a little bit. Yeah, maybe they're gonna be doing something, just a little bit of pressure, who knows. It still might be enough. Yeah, help out her with the Moira. Okay, that's fine. Help out her with the cast leader. Okay, that's alright. Just in this area, probably because they set enough for it. Okay. Now let's see maybe what's gonna happen next. I'll just give us more examples on the next point. I think it's gonna be easier to understand. Okay. So same things, looking to enable Echo and your Tracer. And let's see how your setup looks like. Okay. So what do you think? You going this way? Looking to take angles? What's your thoughts? Is it a good angle for you to take? Yeah. What's your thoughts?
It kind of works because now we're taking multiple angles.
Yeah.
We're gonna converge on 2 different angles. So the Tracer will come, I hope, from the right, and not just go main, and I will go with the Doomfist from the left, so we can go behind them together. Now the Doomfist is kind of behind me, but I should be able to support him, and I can secure a kill. Unfortunately, I get a message that I have a low battery, and I just completely whiff this. But yeah.
Oh, that's alright. Well, happens. Well, anyway, it looks much better, I think. Yeah, it definitely looks much better. You set up multiple angles and see, you're supporting the dive now from the area. You maybe not able to just secure the kill, but at least it still does the thing. Yeah, you're not. Oh well, actually, they did kill the soldier too. You just have to also escape to an angle after, so you're kind of not stuck in here because the rest of your team, they will also try to go back a little bit after the dive. Yeah, you cannot be stuck here for too long, but yeah, that's much better. Like, there's slight concern with how far you guys are, but yeah, there are also some other small things, but yeah, it's fine. It's like, ultimately, you contribute to the dive, you set up, okay? Now, again, you need to get ready, set up first, and then engage. Of course, if your team is engaging, sort of, you go from setup to engage pretty fast, yeah? Like, right now, the Doomfist is in Juno, so help out the Doomfist. Yeah, they're the most active now, okay? You can try to kill this Juno currently, okay? And then you repeat the cycle, you just go and set up somewhere. Oh, this soldier is going in forward. Yeah. Well, it looks good. You see also supporting the Sacro a little bit here. Yeah. Can secure the kill after. Okay. Now, what do you think? This position, how it looks? Getting ready for the dive?
Kinda. I mean, because now what I was trying to do is I saw the Doomfist and their team, so I knew that he was going to charge into them, so I was trying to help him.
Yeah.
So it works. Maybe I could have gone on like the door on the other side instead of going like around, but yeah,
well.
I guess this works.
Yeah, I guess this is decent enough. Yeah. Just make sure you're not all alone in here if he's out completely. But yeah, this is decent. Kind of looking to displace them from another angle. I think that's nice. This part is, if you're really confident to get a kill, I think it's fine. But this might seem like a little bit killable because they use their ability already. I don't think, yeah, they're gonna have shift, so you can just try to kill them. But probably just commit. Yeah, well, if they're trying to fly away, it's fine. Yeah, it's alright. That's alright. Sometimes this happens. You can also go on those solo missions. Oh, crazy fight. Nice, okay. Alright, do you have any questions about anything so far, or everything's been clear?
It's been clear. It's probably gonna take a while to get into the habit of like identifying, setting up the angles and setting up the dives, but like the theory is clear to me, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just 2 questions. Yeah, again, to get familiar with this, it doesn't matter what comp you play, is you compare 2 compositions and they identify the range. Is it long or short, and how you take angles, and then you're able to put your attention right on that, yeah? So let's say my comp is a short range, yeah, other way around. And then you also have to play more stacked angles, okay? So you'll pay attention to your front line more. Give you an example, Ryan comps, yeah, Ryan, May, you will stay with them a little bit more, yeah, not angles as much. Yeah, still map control is important, yes, but it's gonna be less important to, let's just say, how long you stay in the angle, yeah, it's gonna be much less if you have the stacked comp, yeah, the Ryan comp, you will stay with the Ryan most of the time. But if you have angles comp, then you will stay with the angles most of the time. Like Echo, you also have Soldier now, well, you had Tracer before, so you gotta stay with them at the start. Well, we're trying to do here, well, winning the map control. Well, it can be. It can be okay. Actually, you're actually fine at doing this too. You can try to just deny the tracer. It's an okay thing. Just try to deny it, but make sure you get ready for the dive after. So like, yeah, you're trying to escape. Just well, where you gonna go from here?
I was just sealing the. This is also, firstly, this is about what I mean, where like I go way too far back. This is also probably because I thought two things in my head. One, I need to get the hell out of here, and two, our echo is kind of low, so I can heal her. I think that was the only reasoning in my head.
Well, yes.
Even though the Moira is closer, so she could probably instead heal, or the echo could just take a health back.
That's exactly the thing with a support. You don't want to heal the teammates who are not active. We need to first off make sure that you support the activity, okay? So maybe you try to deal with the tracer, okay? And then if you would be supporting the activity, who you would need to support first off? Who's gonna get a lot of pressure right now?
The Doomfist, I guess.
Well, Doomfist really...
Or maybe Moira and Soldier.
Yeah, more in Soldier. So what your setup should be looking like? You go from here, this building, this A, okay, and where are you gonna... What is that position you can take?
I would probably go from A to one of the walls, probably the one in the middle. There's like a white building. Yeah. I can set up a dive and I'm a bit more protected than if I stood on the right side.
Exactly. And see, you have multiple options. It's exactly what the Lucio is good at. And there are a lot of similarities to Mercy. You will be just going from those active angles. You will be supporting this. And then you can also support the Doomfist from here, possibly. Yeah, one of the possibilities are pretty fast. But you don't have to go really far back to just help out somebody who is low. Yeah, it's not good enough reason for you, because first off, you need to think how to put the pressure on the enemy. Yeah, well, if they get closer, I don't think, well, why they're that far? Well, if they get closer, you can support them. Yeah, well, it's fine. If they're not, that's on them, but they're also safe if they're doing that. Yeah, they have cover, the HP is gonna regenerate. Remember, Echo, they also have shields, so they're actually meant to take pressure too. The shields is just something that allows them to regenerate. That's why Echo is not as bad without the pocket too. They can just kind of fly in, fly out, and the shields, all of that is can regenerate. Yeah, and besides the passive, so it will be alright.
Yeah, they're also standing on point.
Yeah, exactly. It's just imagine if you would be here like a second earlier. Yeah, or like 2 seconds earlier. I see that Soldier's getting obliterated now while you've been healing that Echo. He's just getting chased all around there. And imagine this Doomfist, that's something you can also contribute to, I think. Like the Tracer 1 HP, well, maybe you can support that. I think the Soldier's high priority probably, but yeah. Just so many opportunities for you to get this stuff done. Also, always think about this way. If you ever think, I need to heal somebody at the backline. Also, don't forget about the win condition. Your win condition is dive. So if you're supporting somebody who is playing really far, most of the time something's wrong. Usually, it's okay for you to trade the backlines if you're playing this kind of dive and there's a poke character in your team. Like, see this soldier. Your attention will not be on soldier most of the time. It's gonna be on the dive, and the soldier is gonna be dead. Maybe, yeah, most of the time. Well, they're not as good in dive. Let's say, yeah, they cannot go from point 1 to point 2 within the second. So that's alright for you to leave them alone. Just let them die and just get the auto kills on the enemy. Yeah, think about enabling pressure and if it's gonna be alright. Okay, well, does all of it make sense so far? Any questions, maybe, about anything?
Yeah. It also makes a lot more sense when you look back on your replays. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so far, angles, pressure, short range, long, and we also got, yeah, enable activity, setup, get ready, and then first go in. I think you don't have to go really far back or stay with your team. This seems like you need to have this balance, yeah. Instead of going like too far, like there's one side where you go too far, or like you stick with the team, play with the team. You need to think about in between. I think where your team is gonna be, and you're gonna be further away from them achieving map control, staying somewhere in the middle. Maybe just take another angle, and once your team goes in, then you can support them. Yeah. Especially with the dive, you need to not necessarily stick with them. Of course, there are gonna be times, I would still say, the Tracer, if you have the Tracer, probably will end up in the same angle at the start, kind of just being together, but it's okay. You just keep that idea in mind anyway, that you might take a different angle if it's needed. Okay. Well, we could look at the Mercy if you want. Maybe? Or do you want to watch this a little bit more? You have any questions about the Lucio?
No, I don't think there's... You basically covered everything. So we can look at Mercy.
Yeah.
I can send it to you.
Yeah, of course.
This is going to be very interesting because, like, when was the last time we reviewed a Mercy game?
I think it was probably our
Or maybe
first-
last time, actually.
Wait, last time?
Yeah.
maybe?
No, wait.
Mercy? Maybe, yeah. Well,
Did
there
we?
was a little
Yeah.
bit tracking strats. Yeah, there was a little bit of both supports like Lucio and Mercy, you track strats, and then able to position after. Yeah, well, makes sense. Okay. Right, we'll keep the same theme going, I think. We'll talk about the win cons. Now, the composition gives you win condition. Yeah, if you know the angles, the range. So let's look at that, and maybe there's gonna be something else what we can take a look at. Okay. Have the Mercy, and your com should be quite suitable, I think. You can be okay with this composition. There's a lot of poke potential, and a lot of good targets for you to support. Well, what do you think, though? This comp versus the enemy, how do you guys win? Range and angles.
Yeah, we can just take... This is a very, like, except for the Tracer, this is a pretty, like, poke-oriented team, so probably just staying at longer range, taking the two bridges for the first, or the bridge for the first fight. The Tracer is probably going to take some kind of off angle to the right. But that's the Anna's job to help her, I guess. But I should mostly be supporting the Ash to just pocket her, or possibly the Roadhog if he uses hook, I guess.
Yeah.
Secure the kill.
Yeah, mostly kind of poke elements. You can even support your Anna a little bit more to do damage if there's no one else. And usually Ash, maybe Tracer if she is within the line of sight, but not really your job, and honestly not Anna's job at all, because Tracer is flanking and the Annas might not have the best line of sight on them, so they're gonna be pretty self-sufficient. So just whatever support they might receive, then they get it. But most of the attention goes to the angles, like long range. Remember the wing con? We're looking at the what your comp does. The enemy, they better diving. They still have the poke potential, but they better diving. Okay, so you need to disable the dive. Disable the dive by poking them out a little bit more. Support your team, and it's gonna be alright. Let's see, how is that gonna go? Okay, well, starting with the Ash makes sense. You can just kind of keep damage boosting them, and just you see what you want to notice though. Yeah, this happening right now. There is something damage boost. Yes, good. We actually switched right on time, I think. Nice, good. Helped out the Hog, now supporting the Ash a little bit more, supporting the Tracer. Well, healing up the Ash a little
I think I missed Ash.
Yeah, you wanted to dash over here? Let me see. Where do we wanna... What do you wanted to do there? Yeah, well, what was the intent? I assume it's you trying to go here, or is there's...
Yeah. This was one I messed up because I was healing the Tracer instead of the Ash, and then I also tried to Guardian Angel away. But this happens again, I think, quite soon, where like the distance is too short, so I don't get anywhere when I Guardian Angel. I think I even die because of it.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Well, what is important is your decision. Yeah, if your intention was to go over here, I think it's okay. You messed up mechanically, what happens? You just get better at this eventually. It's gonna be fine. The thing though is, it's just what your attention should be on now. Like, there are multiple targets for you to focus on. What do you think? What it looks like? Should we support the Tracer now? Should we supporting someone else? What do what it looks like.
Probably, I mean, the tank and the Ash. The Ash is really low. The tank is low. The Ana is looking away. I don't know why, but currently the Tracer doesn't really have any pressure. There's about to be a 1v1, but I think the Tracer should win that. Yeah. So there's not really a reason for me to popular. The 2 HP Ash, though, against a Senyara and a Ball is probably more of a risk. But I think my reasoning was that I saw that there's an Ana close to the Ash, and I thought, oh yeah, she'll deal with it, so I can instead support and make sure that the Tracer wins.
Yes.
Versus her away.
Exactly. And see, this is exactly what might be tough. I think like this. Partially, I understand it when there is a time you can support the Tracer. Just most of the time, when the actual pressure happens from your poke team members, so maybe they're getting dived, I think your attention should be there. And see, like, your position is also possibly is not allowing you to support those active angle. You kind of want to position somewhere, like, between the angles. Remember, the Lucio, we talked about how you want to anticipate the fight, and then position, like take an angle after. As the Mercy is the same. Okay, but you need to have opportunity to fly between groups. We need to be able to support the Ana, Ash, and Hawk at the same time, because those are all poke members. The Zelvin condition. So if you're not able to do so, I think this might be concerning a lot of times. Okay, so I would probably leave the Tracer, and then you would be setting up to just help out most of those guys. Yeah, it's just like all together, just to help them out with the pressure. Later, maybe if they're not doing much, you go back to the Tracer, but it seems a little bit tough for those long range guys, at least, because this is your win con. That's how you win. You need to support that most of the time. Yeah, make sure this is solved first. Yeah, like now again, help out Diana. It's gonna be fine. You got the soldier, the same thing though. Echo, less of a priority. Usually support the long range members, maybe the Hawk, even. Echo only if there's a consequence. Well, they're really far in, I think. Of course, it's always good to kind of pocket Echo a little bit, especially at the start of the fight, like taking out the angle. Just make sure your attention also gets to the long range guys too when it's needed, to see if there's some sort of downtime. Like here, yeah, maybe just see, okay, who else I can damage boost now? Maybe even that soldier, or like that Ana, that Hawk. Who do you think it should be damage boosting currently, actually? Who does more pressure right now?
The soldier probably, or the Ana.
Yeah, one of those.
The Road Dog is a bit too far away, and he's getting healed by Ana. So probably the soldier would be a good idea to take out the Senyara, maybe.
Yeah, I would say so. And see, this Aqua, anyway, they're forced to play defensive currently, too. I think that's alright. If you just sit here, damage boost this. If the Aqua goes in, it can also go in. But see, you intentionally set it up to be able to support most of the active angles from poke, first of all. Yeah, if they're not active, sure, support the Aqua, but right now they're pretty active. So help them out. Hog is healing themselves, so you don't want to put a lot of attention on them currently. So it's all good. You see slightly more enabling your poke guys. Okay, so this is one layer. Another layer is also, you're looking at the ultimates. When we're talking about the win condition, a lot of times it's just because you have certain ultimate, then you want to support those guys a little bit more, because it's the way you can win the fight. Yeah, you can think about how do you set up around certain ultimate and just support those guys, especially if they're pretty close. Yeah, just help them out to farm that will charge. So something I would think about is, yeah, like in this case, maybe help out the Hog a little bit more. Maybe also help out the, yeah, I think the Hog was really close to the ultimate. Yeah, and just potentially. And then later, just depending on who gets the most aggressive with either the abilities or the ultimates, you can keep supporting them. I think it's not bad to support the Echo, just be careful. Yeah, exactly. With the movement, you have to be able to get out. Just like support the most of these guys. Oh, nice. The Genji gets hooked, so I guess able to stay alive. That's good. Looking around, finding the echo. It's fine. That's why those supports are really hard. You have to be like within the seconds. You have to make those good decisions at all times. Just like know what your attention should be on. I see now the fight is about to start. Again, who you will most likely be supporting. You have all the ultimates now too. So what do you think? Who your priorities on? Probably.
The soldier, I think.
Yeah, soldier first. But always notice who is using something. Yeah, look at the ultimates. What are they doing currently? Obviously, if there's Zako, they're using their ultimate, then you support them. Maybe there's Hog, they're using ultimate, you can support them, but probably expect Soldier first. Might expect early Nano too, but just one of the poke ultimates first off. I see this is especially at this time. I think you need to be mindful like what this guy on Soldier is doing. So it's just when there's downtime too. But let's say it's not too bad for you because you got a pick though. So they start playing defensive, I think. This time, okay, team fight starts. Decent ultimate. Yeah, you can open up with yours. You guys open up with quite a lot of stuff though. It's only my concern. It's kind of everybody.
Yeah, there was no comms this game, so everyone just pressed Q at the same time.
Yeah. Ideally you can open up the fight with yours. I would say it's just one of the cheapest ultimates, and there's no defensive capabilities like on Ana. You getting a little bit of healing as well once they are under pressure. So yeah, it's probably called it out, open up with ult, and then it's gonna be fine. Maybe one of the good moments is, especially if they use something like Kitsune. Yeah, but you can pretty much start, because remember, this is what I want you to look at. Your win condition is keep poking the enemy. Okay, capture the point, it's nice. So remember, when the enemy is getting closer, yeah, you want to push them away, yeah, you don't want to allow them to get on top of you. So as soon as you see, okay, there's a potential for them to turn that around. They are only 5, yeah, but they use an ultimate, you are currently 6. Well, maybe there's a chance for them to turn it around, so start with the ultimate and scare them a little bit. So they play that long range. This is your favorable range. You win at the long range battle versus them still. They have Cass, Kiri, Mauga, more of a kind of brawl poke tank, but yeah, mostly leaning towards the brawl, so push them away. Keep just your attention with the damage boost, and it's gonna be fine. Maybe this will solve some of the problems where you guys are ulting. Like, if you ult earlier, then it will be easier, I think. It will be easier to just for the rest of your team to not feed, but who knows? Maybe they still use the ultimate, but anyway. You know what I mean? So like, you see, you kind of poke the ultimate at the same time, yeah? They're trying to enable your poke Vincon, so I don't think you have to hold ultimate for too long. Yeah, obviously you guys should be okay. Every ultimate is used, like 5 ultimates.
Wait, we used every ult?
Yeah, you use 5 ultimates.
Oh. That's really dumb. I think we lose this game too, so...
Yeah, ult economy is really something to pay attention to. I like the support and the soldier. Well, maybe the only thing is like the position slightly better. Not sure. Well, if we here, we're not able to damage boost them, so I don't know. Seems it's alright. Yeah, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, you can see I was also kind of conflicted because I wanted to... This is very like one-sided because this is all about the soldier and this exact angle. But I mean, I have no escape options really, and I can't really help anyone else from this angle. So it's, like I said, all about, it's just supporting one person. It's good to support the flank because he will probably get the Ash. But if I stayed with the team, with the Anne and the Echo, I could have maybe help them more, I guess.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think this works.
Pay attention to the comms. Like, we just paying attention to the same thing. Yeah, you need to enable your win condition, right?
Yeah.
See what happened to the com, to the enemy com.
They switched to also now a bit more of a poke comp.
All right. Who wins the poke war now? What do you think?
Oh wait, they win the poke war.
Right. So see, if they win the poke war, who should be your first priority to enable? What do you think?
The Echo, I don't know if he can enable, but she's very. I mean, in a bad situation against the Cassidy, Ash, and the Anna, that's pretty tough.
Yeah, but the way you win is
the soldier.
You can't win the poke war, right?
Yeah, I mean, the soldier is I think, the best long range, except for Anna. But I think in general, taking this flank and taking out, because their best poke character right now would be Ash, and we take her out early, I presume. And then it's a 4v5, and then we win the poke war, because the biggest threat probably is their Ash. So this angle works.
Oh, it could be possible, but you know if you take out the Ash, like you're committing to help out the soldier, but you kind of assuming you probably take out the Ash, which do you think is gonna happen?
I mean, it's kind of a 50-50, and that's where I was a bit like conflicted on taking that position in the first place, because if he loses that 50-50, yeah, and now he gets supports. So now it would have been better to be able to help the Anna, which is maybe going to die, or the Echo.
Yeah, but see, this is what I'm trying to say. You don't have to feel conflicted. You just need to look at the win condition and make sure most of your attention goes to the right place right now. You see, there's no way you win the poke war on the on the paper. Yeah, so you don't enable the poke as much. You enable someone who's getting closer and just like some sort of short range pressure in a way. Okay? So the priority is Echo. Maybe enable the Hog sometimes. Anna, well, they play really short angle now, so that's partially something to look and see. Because they take that short range position. Maybe we can enable that. Definitely not poke yet. You can let them take an angle, I think it's fine. But just not most of your attention should be there. It should be on the who is doing something in the short range. Yeah, and see currently Anna, Echo would be first, Anna next. Okay, see what I'm trying to say? Yeah, it's just enable the short range war a little bit more. Yeah, does it make sense to you? Yeah, it's just because they made those swaps, but you have to make those decisions really fast. You have to just look and see, okay, in this current situation, we have to enable this, we have to enable that, yeah? Just for what win condition I'm playing now. Yeah, it's like angles, ultimates, all together. Yeah. Oh, nice. Good escape.
Yeah, I was just trying to die so I can spawn with the team, but I didn't. Then the Anna came, so.
Yeah. That's good. You guys just gotta reset a little. Okay. Oh,
Nice
I'll
ult.
go do the extent. Okay. Yeah, I guess you'll be right. I see this most of the time. You just echo. Of course, if there's somebody else more active, like that soldier take short range angle now, well, maybe, but if the echo is not diving, of course. Just make sure you, first of all, position to be able to see all of those guys. Yeah, it's a little bit tough. Just two targets right now. This is partially what we talked about in Lucio. Of course, there are priorities, but always watch who does the activity first. You see this? Echo is just about to peek behind the cover. There was a reloading, I think, currently. If let me see the animation. Yeah, they did reload. Like whenever you see the hand, it's like going above. They're reloading. So just pay attention to the active angles first. This hand is shooting standing right now, so we just support them. Obviously, we got a Raz too, but Just might be something what we can use for later too. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing here.
Now, at this point, you just kind of can try to survive. No, I think it's fine. If you know a team's coming out that way, why not? Well, ultimate, enable that. That's okay too. A little bit tough. Well, making our escape though. It's great.
I just spent a minute trying to escape. Like,
Okay.
like I can't get any value.
Alright. Now, you can die faster in those cases. If you know they get you 100%,
Yeah.
there's no escape option, then just go in and die 100%. If they
That's where I
just
realized that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they just staring at you like that Maug did a little bit a while ago, then you can just shoot them, farm ult charge, it's okay. Yeah, it's good, enable the echo, I think. Looking for the dive, especially if they have this copy, yeah? Something we mentioned, 2 ultimates. Yeah, they're going for the dive, sure. A little bit tough over here though, because with the way you guys are set up, I think just not the best. You need to wait for the rest of these guys. But well, at least we try to support them. The activity, I think. Why not? That escape option is a little bit weird though. Definitely get a bounce somewhere else, but that's okay. You just probably go on this platform, go over here, stuff like that. I think you're able to make it. Yeah, if you go from here, I think it's possible to reach it this way, right? You can correct me if I'm
Or if I
wrong,
just
but...
went, yeah, no, I would have made it. Or I could have gone to low ground. That would also work.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's just gonna be the same idea though. It's just because this is dead. Yeah, now thinking about the active angles where you're gonna be, so you enable them again. It will be much easier. There's a hawk coming in. There's also a soldier who is over there, so you can live a little bit longer, and maybe your teammates can live a little bit longer. Can try to turn that around, farm your ultimate as well. Yeah, at this point, might seem a little bit tough. Alright. Alright. I have the ultimate too. That's nice. Your comp is different though. So now you have more poke in position for sure. Because of the Widow. You get so much burst potential from far. You can win that war. So your attention is on Ashe, Widow, maybe Ana. Okay, well, Surgeon is the same as the Widow. It's just more... kind of more mobility, and it's just the way the farm will charge. Yeah, like their shot, it's just less frequent burst. But they are comp, they also swap to Junker Queen, Life Fever, Kiriko, so that's alright. As long as you just enable the poke, guys, it's gonna be real good. Well. Yeah, this is what it's... might be tough there. I think it's just... Ashe is over here, and then your Surgeon is over there. You're supporting the Ana. Who you should be supporting right now? What do you think?
Yeah, Jesus. Or yeah, the Roadhog is fine. The soldier isn't doing anything, but the Ashe is a very risky flank. So probably helping her would be good. I don't know why I went back. I think I was scared of dying when I was with the Roadhog, but I... and then I couldn't, fly back to the Roadhog because he was too far away. Maybe.
Yeah, but who does more poke damage on your team? Like, currently, where the Hog is fighting? They're fighting here. Okay, so who is doing damage towards that area on your team now? Who is able to?
The Hog and the Ashe soon, but mostly the Hog, so...
What about Surgeon?
I think now...
Above...
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's also the one.
She
Yeah, that's still better than supporting Diana, right? It just does more pressure for sure. Yeah, especially the position where they are. Yeah. So this is what you want to be thinking about. Kind of switch between those active angles. Get ready. You might support the Ash, you might support that Surgeon, and just depending on the activity, you can start using your Mercy ultimate, yeah, and just swap between the Ash or Surgeon. Yeah, but definitely not supporting the Ana and like going like for that damage boost. Yeah, there should be a period of time you should be on Surge, and then with supporting the Ash, when do you think would be the good time for you to start supporting them? Yeah, like thinking about yeah, so thinking about your ultimate as well because it's a tool too. Yeah, how you could take advantage of that when supporting them. What you could be looking for. What is the best time?
I mean, you could. The fight has already kind of started, but I could just initiate once I went back, so you can just like GA over their pocket, and then you can also just peek over, and they can fly to the soldier, and if she tries to go up the middle of the screen, and then I can also fly because if I have the ult, I can very easily fly from the soldier, hog, or ash, like a triangle, pretty easily, and supporting which ones.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, but probably to enable, I guess, because it would be too late if I see like if that when Dash starts taking damage, she's probably going to die. So it might have been too late. I think when she's like starts taking damage, she gets bursted and just dies in like 1 second. So it would have been too late at that point. So it would have been better to just initiate. I think secure pick.
Yeah. Exactly. I think it's just your Valkyrie is really good at enabling you to stay in like more interesting spots where it's easier for you to support all the angles. Yeah, so you can always kind of go high up, yeah, and there's these opportunity for you to swap. Even though somebody's flanking and really deep, you can still get away with this. Yeah, whereas just normal form, you're kind of not able to go on like too much risk sometimes. Yeah, but yeah, that's exactly what you can be doing now. I think. And also you will be opening up the fight, right? You have more pokes, so remember you don't want to let the enemy to get on top of you. You don't want to make sure they... you don't want to let them get close, too close. So as soon as you recognize they're getting closer, you just support in the poke, yes, open up like maybe now, let's say, but maybe you see the shot or like they're already in a good space. Like now they're pretty short range. So start your Valkyrie and then support the Ash. Start with the Surgeon first, yeah, not Ana, and then later support the Ash, and then maybe you can get more done. Yeah, just some more damage done, and maybe disarm the enemy, get Raz as well. You kind of use it later. It's okay too. But yeah, well, might be a little bit tough there. Now your Hog used an ultimate too.
Yeah, which would have been pretty good in the last fight.
Yeah, exactly. It's like so good at just when you contest the point. If they have Hog ult, and if they are short range characters, like they have roll win condition, you can just boop them away, and it makes it easy for the rest of your team, the rest of your long range pressure, to just be able to support all of that. Yeah, it becomes a little bit complicated here, 100%. Well, that's alright. Pretty close game. Pretty close game, though, I think. Well, so far, overall the same things, yeah? More attention on the activity, and then, of course, there also been times like die faster, maybe, yeah, but really, if you know the win condition, by looking at the comp, I think it's giving you good direction a lot of times, so will be helpful. Yeah, do you have any questions, maybe, about anything on this replay?
No, I don't think so. Not that comes to mind. I think maybe I can look at. Yeah, no. I think that's pretty good.
Okay, okay.
It's bigger because now I know what I need to improve on, especially on Mercy, because on Lucio I understood that before the session that it was something about like my angles, because I felt like I wasn't at the right place at the right time, and I was just like either too deep or not doing anything. And on Mercy I just didn't really know what to do, what exactly to improve. Because mostly I've just been thinking, when you said about the fire pick or when supporting the echo on this game, I just thought of like what character is good to pocket, more like that, rather than looking at the wider picture of like the actual win condition of the game. So I thought more like, oh yeah, the echo is pretty good to pocket on Mercy because it's safer up in the air, and also you have like an overview so you can fly to anyone, rather than the soldier. The echo also has a lot of bursts, so if you would dive someone, the damage boost to the burst could be very lethal. But while it might have been better to like focus on, okay, I need to support our win condition, which is was at that point poke, and the best poke character that was also active at the time was the soldier. So just needing to get that thinking into my head, that thought process.
Yeah,
I guess.
exactly. Yeah, I think because you will be paying attention to the kill feed, pressing tab as well, all of that helps. You just, I think, mostly tab, yeah. Just scout information, see what the comp is all about, and then it makes it easy for you to decide what to do. And remember, yeah, the general questions. What are the 2 things for you to watch out for if you're playing around certain compositions? Like, how do you identify the win con?
Like range of the characters, Ash have long range, Reaper short range, and then angles. Right. If you're staying in like a close together brawl compositions with, I don't know, Ryan, like you said, then you usually want to have more softer angles and stay with the team. If you're on Lucio, for example, or if you're playing dive with like Doomfist or I don't know, Winston maybe, and the Tracer and Venture maybe, where like everyone does their own thing. It's better to like take the like more hard angles, hard off angles to support the dives, the individual dives, rather than staying like with the team to heal.
Exactly.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think those 2 questions, those are gonna be helpful. Also, we can take a look at the resources too. It's just stuff like ultimates, maybe even cooldowns. That is something what you can play around. Yeah, think about your win condition as there's something big happening, and we can support that pretty much. Yeah, but obviously the team comp, generally speaking, it gives you a good direction. Yeah, it gives you good direction what to do, and makes it easy for you to decide. Yeah, so it's been mostly Lucio, Mercy. Well, on Lucio, as you mentioned, you need to anticipate the fight a little bit more and take an angle to. So, been mentioning mostly support the dive, especially. Yeah, support the dive. With Mercy, it's anticipate the fight, take an angle to support multiple poke angles. Yeah, position to support multiple groups. Exactly. Okay, and yeah, I think when engage happens, your attention should be on ultimates being used. You can still anticipate. Yeah, anticipate what your attention is gonna be on. Yeah, like what ult you're gonna be supporting. Just before the fight. And on Lucio it can also be the same too. Of course, just on support in general, I think it's a good habit to do. So keep that in mind. Okay. Well, maybe are there any questions? Maybe about anything? We still have some time, so yeah.
No, not that I can think of. The only thing that's kind of coming to my mind is a lot of the things we talked about with Anna. I know that's not primarily the focus, but with Anna was taking sharp angles and kind of using nade and sleep like reactively, I guess. Like if you base it on enemy commitment, so if like when the cooldown is used, you can use nade. Like wait for you see Susu or maybe more of fade, then you can throw the either sleep to secure the kill if there's high chance, or the nade to just anti. Is there any like, so basically in summary, like the cooldowns are very like reactive use. Is like you base it on enemy commitment. Is it similar in like Lucio, for example, with AMP? Should I only, or maybe diving, should it be like based on what the enemy does, or more what's happening to our team?
Well,
Like you said,
both.
following the team.
Yeah, it's both. You enable your biggest active pressure now and also disable theirs. Ideally, it should be both. It's the same on any support. So if you know that your teammate's doing quite a lot, like dive, for example. Okay, I'm supporting the dive. Meantime, I'm also keeping an eye on the big abilities. Let's say they have Rotor Hook, but I'm supporting the dive. Yeah, what I will be doing? I will be sitting with my Trace on the angle, or like help out the Doomfist to dive, and also move the Rotor Hook away, so he will not get a hook. Yeah. Just do things together. Yeah, you gotta keep an eye on the abilities. Obviously, you don't want to just kind of sit there and wait for the enemy to do something. You just try to bait that as well. As a Lucio, you have a lot of mobility, so something to keep in mind. You can always try to dodge stuff too, and kind of be annoying for them. Yeah, like a lot of random movement, moving left, right. Yeah, and just like a lot of stuff you can do, especially if you have your speed boost on. Yeah, you can just try to dodge a lot of the stuff. But yeah, mostly it's like about the wall riding and with how you good mechanically with the movement stuff, I think. Yeah. So enable, disable. Yeah, enable, disable at the same time. Should be both things. And because we talked about the team comms win conditions, it's just thinking about your win con. Yeah, enable your win con and then disable the enemy win con. Yeah, let's say you play brawl and they have dive. Okay, enable your brawl, play with the brawl characters a little bit more, and disable the dive by just kind of booping them once they try to dive you or something you like. Maybe more clear example, let's say a dive versus poke. You can help out the divers to dive, yeah, like Doomfist diving in, Traces diving in, you help them out, and then later you can also try to disable the enemy poke by just making sure you displace them somewhere where it's easier for your team to dive. For example, you know, like there's a Widow, okay, maybe there's Ash, you can boot them off the high grounds, you can just make it easy for your divers to dive them, stuff like that. You can also mess up their abilities too, like we mentioned, yeah? And maybe they're using something, so that is something you can do. Yeah, does it make sense?
Yeah, and also the same thing applies to mirrors too. Like if there's two poke compositions or two Widowmakers, if one Widowmaker, for example, gets diffed like quite hard and he doesn't switch, like should I try to identify like why the Widowmaker is dying, maybe the other Widowmaker, and then focus on that threat? Or should I just focus on...
About the Widowmaker dying, I would say it's like kind of the similar thing, like you said, when you're trying to poke at somebody, yeah, it's not only like based on the one thing, yeah, it's based on like the big picture, see what's happening now. Well, at all moments, you're trying to support the most active angle, right? So the Widow is the most active, you recognize it, yeah, because of their position, maybe the big burst they're doing, you're supporting them, like probably would play Mercy too. Yeah, so, right, it's fine. If they die and it's not your deal, yeah, you've been supporting the biggest pressure right now. If you did that, that's good, okay? They dead, then you go back to just support somebody else who is more active, yeah? So it's not like you have to figure out, like, why the dice while you have the other things to do. Well, you can be, like, thinking, maybe you choose another best target to support, like, maybe they're not the most active, but, yeah, it's like... you don't have to overthink this, I think. Yeah, with how you support. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I mean, so basically, like, let's say we play poke, like Widow versus Widow, for example, and I would switch. Like, it's not necessary for me to switch to Lucio to constantly dive the Widowmaker,
Yeah,
right? I should just focus on...
not. Yeah, for sure
No.
not, because this is really like, are you gonna be enabling your win condition? Let's say you have poke comp, and this guy is getting diffed by like the other Widow. Yeah, you're swapping to Lucio. Are you gonna be supporting your win condition by playing Lucio with the poke comp?
No, but I make it harder for the other, poke compositions too.
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
No, but that was basically it.
Yeah, but see, like you're making it harder, but how? Like how harder? Yeah, are you countering one variable? Is it enough, or like we have to pay attention to the other five? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I guess like pay attention to the big picture. Yeah, make sure you disable their win con. So if they have, it's like some players would say they have fire, swap to hit scan. When you play brawl, it's like really stupid, right? Because your win condition is not deal with the fire. Your win condition is just kill everybody else, right? And it's kind of the similar thing. They have Widow. You go in for just dealing with the Widow when your win condition is just not that. It's doing something else. Just so support your win condition first. Yeah, you need to play around your strengths and obviously disable their win condition. Like let's say they have one single Widowmaker but playing Brawl. If you dive into Widowmaker most of the time, well, maybe you're doing okay, but you disabling their brawl, well, maybe not, and then they're rolling you, and then it just becomes really tough for your team, right? But then, you see, this thing might happen. You dive into Widow when your Widow is getting diffed and they have brawl, but because you're not disabling their brawl, because you dive into Widow, then they roll you, yeah? But you've been helping the Widow, though. Yeah, so, yeah, that's what I mean. It's just like, a lot of times you might drop yourself in those unfavorable situations when you pay, because we pay attention to this one variable, it just drops you in the position where you are just forgetting about the big picture. Yeah, like maybe you support that one variable, but what about the others? And that's what I'm trying to pay attention to. Like you need to pay attention to. Does it make sense?
Mm. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. So first of all, like the big picture first. Big picture first, like small things, yeah, sure, nuances, but first off, put most of the attention towards the place with how to support your win condition, disable there, and should be alright. Okay.